So before we continue, there are a few people I need to thank. I need to thank the people who partnered with me locally to organize these events, most notably Mr. Rohan over there and Yaman over there. Right? Thank you very much for taking time from your careers or education to contribute to this forum. I also need to thank the host, Vasant Valley School, who provided these venues for free and gave us passes. That was great. I also need to thank two international organizations who helped organize the forum and helped fund it, right? And they're here today and they will be speaking to share why they believe in debate and why they funded this forum and why they keep engaging with youth debate all around the world. And that is the Open Societies Foundations, and we'll hear from Mr. Noel Selegzi first. And there's also the International Debate Education Association, or IDEA, and we'll hear from Mr. Alex Dukalskis also from IDEA. Right? Thank you very much to both of you. That said, I'm going to invite Mr. Selegzi to come up front to say a few words.
Hi everybody, my name is Noel Selegzi and I work for an organization called the Open Society Foundations, which is a private grant-making and operating foundation based in the United States, but with a network of foundations that spans the entire globe. But this is my first trip to India, and I don't really know, and I will be the first to admit, I don't really know much about India. So I'm going to need some help. How many of you speak Hindi? Good. I need to know what some words mean. Vaad. Does someone know what that means? V-A-A-D?
Conversation.
Okay, what kind of conversation? What's the purpose of it? Okay. And then there's another word I was trying to figure out what it means. What if you put a vivad? V-I-V-A-A-D. Fighting. Argument. Debate. And then there's another word I need to figure out. Vitandavad. Well, this kid knows a lot. What does that one mean? Well, how's it different than from vivad?
Another opinion, it's a counter argument to what a person says, and we try to put our point in front in such a way that it is like we are arguing with each other, debating, and we try to put our point in front.
Okay. So how is that different then from Vivad?
The opposite, mostly it's the opposite of what the other person is saying, and we.
And then Vivad is what? So that, like, how are they actually different from one another? Those two words. Come on, you guys live here. You must know this better than I do. Yeah.
Vaad is only conversation between two. Simple conversation. And Vivad is like debating.
Okay, and then Vitandavad, yeah, you? This thing is bright, okay.
Vaad is a simple issue with argument. The other is like a difference of opinion. It's like using companies to shape it. And then there are companies in different things.
Okay. There's three words, right? I understand now that Vaad is like a simple conversation. Vivad seems to be a debate, right? But then what does Vitandavad mean? How is that different? They seem to be two different words. They're spelled differently in my iPad. So someone's got to explain to me, because remember, I don't speak any Hindi. I can't even say thank you. And how do you say thank you in Hindi? Okay, we'll work on that some more later. Back to the other. I want to know the difference between Vivad and Vitandavad. What's the difference? They're two different words, right? I know they just don't use extra letters. You've had, okay, try again. I want to know the difference between them.
Intense discussion about
Which is that? And how is that different from vivad?
Vivad is just a debate and we just try to present our points.
So the second one is just more intense. Vitandavat is an intense discussion, and vivad is we are less intense. That's it? Intensity? Okay. What we've been trying to do at the Open Society Foundations for pretty much the last 17 years, since 1995, is to go around the world and to try and figure out the best ways to promote the participation of young people in critical discussions of the issues affecting their lives and their communities. And now, it's important to us that there's a difference between fighting and debating. In English, the word argument has two different meanings. See, we don't have all these great words like you have, right? We have just one word, argument. And that word can mean I'm mad at you. We're arguing. Like you argue with your brothers and sisters, parents, right? And those aren't arguments where you're trying to seek the truth, right? You're just mad at each other. And you're arguing because sometimes it's just a good way to pass the time on a long car. Like the traffic here. You guys got to work on the roads. It takes a long time to get around here in cars. I could see how you could start becoming pretty argumentative when you have nothing better to do but sit in and you love the horns, too. The horn thing. I mean, that's kind of like arguing, right? You're like, I'm mad at you. Doesn't know. So, what we try and do is figure out how do we have these discussions, critical discussions, where we may disagree. And not only do we may disagree, we may disagree with the position that we actually believe in. Right? So I might believe that broccoli. Do you have broccoli in India?
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower?
Not the broccoli.
Someone might believe that cauliflower is a great vegetable. Someone else might say, yeah, I don't really like cauliflower. It doesn't taste so hot. Someone says, well, you say you don't like cauliflower, right? Make a good argument in favor of cauliflower. Why, even though you don't like it, maybe cauliflower is a good thing? It makes you rethink a position that you already have. So you have to think through a point of view that's not your own. And that's not so that you'll necessarily change your mind. You still might end up deciding, all in all, I'd rather eat broccoli than cauliflower. But at least I've thought it through a bit more. That's an important part of what we're trying to do. We're trying to use argument in this formal sense of making a claim, supporting it with reason, so that we can have the force of argument and not the argument of force. That's what we are going to call debate. And we're looking to see, like I was reading this book called The Argumentative Indian by a fellow named Amartya Sen. How many of you know who he is? He's a big shot. I was looking this thing up too. There's a really big award that's given out. Yeah, that thing. He got that a few years ago. And he wrote this whole book about the argument, and it's not, and his argument in The Argumentative Indian, that critical to Indian culture has been the plurality of opinions and a critical engagement in discussion. But he also points out that in recent years, that tradition has in some ways been put under threat. That students like yourselves don't get the opportunity as much, especially if you're not from elite circles, to engage in these critical discussions. That there's a lot more of the education is just about how to get a job, and which is a great thing. You should all get jobs. Unemployment sucks. But there isn't as much of a tradition particularly in the formal education system. And one of the things we'd like to try and do is make sure that as many people in India as possible have the same ability to become argumentative Indians that Sen thinks is so important. This book is a bit boring for you guys, I suspect. It's kind of heavy. But I think in future years it'll be an interesting read. But that's what we're trying to do. Our goal as the Open Society Foundations, and this is our first attempt to support debate in India. We know that you've had a long and rich tradition of debate. We don't think that we're coming to tell India something India doesn't already know, and that there isn't already a very profound tradition. But we want to make sure that everyone gets this opportunity. Rich, poor, regardless of what language you speak. I don't speak Hindi, but there should be debate in every language in India. I think India is supposedly the most polyglot language in the country in the world. More languages are spoken in India than anywhere else in the world. That's a lot of debates to have, in a lot of different languages, and a lot of different words like vad, vivad, that have to be discovered. So that's what we're trying to do. And the reason why I came was to see what, as the Open Society Foundations, can we do to help facilitate this. Now, we're a large foundation, but not that big. India is a lot bigger than we are. So we're not going to be able to ensure that everyone has the opportunity, but we're going to try and make it that as many people as possible can. But we're going to need your help. For the younger members of our audience today, you're going to hopefully have 2 days, or at least 1 day of fun, learning more about debating and engaging in some debates. For the older folks here, your teachers, some of the folks who are invited to tell us more about debate, we're going to hopefully try and come up over the next 2 days with a plan, or at least the beginnings of a plan, for how to help to spread and deepen the tradition of the argumentative Indian. I'd like to thank you all for coming. I want to recommend the cookies. They're really good. I know Logan said to wait, and you should wait. But when it's snack time, the cookies, very good.
Thank you very much, Noel, for the introduction to debates, OSF, argumentative Indian, and the cookies. We will now invite Alex to talk about idea.
Thanks very much. Noel covered a lot of what I was going to talk about anyway, as he's prone to do, and so I'll be pretty brief in my remarks. Like Logan said, my name's Alex, and I run the American branch of the International Debate Education Association. We shorten it to IDEA. Okay? And I want to tell you a little bit about kind of what we are, why we promote debate, and how we do it, what kinds of activities we promote. IDEA is a non-profit organization, and we promote debate around the world. We do this in a variety of formats, a variety of languages, through different mediums, online, radio, face-to-face. Anything you can think of that has to do with debate, we promote it. We were founded in 1999 as a spin-off of Noel's organization, the Open Society Institute. And we began in Eastern Europe, Central Europe, and former Soviet Union, but since then we've gone global. So we have a lot of programs in Southeast Asia, we work in Africa, the Middle East, Western Europe, the United States, as many places as we can, we work. And again, we promote debate both in English for exchange purposes and in local languages. We've got offices in New York, London, Amsterdam, Brussels, and we're working on offices in Beijing, Tunisia, and Mexico. So we're trying to be as many places as we can, right? So why do we promote debate? Well, Noel already talked a lot about that. You know, the idea that the better argument should win the day rather than a person with high status or somebody who has more power, right? But I also want to point out for those of you who are just starting in debate or maybe thinking about engaging in debate, that there are also a lot of educational and personal reasons why you might join debate. Study after study in US and Europe shows that participating in academic debate improves your academic performance, it improves your public speaking, it improves your critical thinking. Everything that you can think of educationally is improved by participating in debate. So in addition to all the really excellent things that Noel talked about, The idea that you should be able to engage public issues reasonably and critically with fellow citizens. It's also a great tool for personal betterment, right? And for achieving other things that you want to achieve, okay? Lastly, we base a lot of our work on that foundation, that the idea of kind of public deliberation, that reasoned discussion should take place on important public issues. And that means that we do things that maybe other debate organizations might not do, or might do in a different way, okay? So we do a variety of things. First things we do is we have a website. Many people know IDEA because of its website. We have about 700,000 visitors per month. And on our website, idebate.org, I don't think we have internet on here to put it up, right? No. idebate.org, there are a lot of resources for you that are all free. Things like for teachers, debate lessons and debate curricula. For students, research in terms of pro-con arguments and background on particular issues. All free, all available for you to use. I would also note that our website's undergoing a bit of a redevelopment right now, and so it'll look and feel a lot better in a few months than it does now, and it'll be quite cool. There'll also be a debate social networking aspect to it, and so you'll be able to share with your friends debates that you're having or debate events that you've gone to, and it'll be a sort of a more social thing like that. We also publish, so we publish books of curricula for teachers, resources for students, and just books for the general public that are interested in controversial issues. We conduct trainings, so we train teachers, we train students, we train community trainers who might be interested in teaching other people how to debate. We also, with our trainings, we try to innovate a little bit. So one of the programs we're doing right now that Aditi, my colleague right there, is working on in New York City is an interfaith debate program. So taking young people from different religious traditions and having them debate with each other, providing them training in how to argue effectively. And so we're doing that in New York City right now, looking to maybe try it in other places as well. We also, for some of you for future years, might be interested in high school events that we have, or secondary school events. We have a flagship event called the Youth Forum, and this is a 2-week program where you have 2 debate tournaments. One debate tournament, you debate with your friends from your country, so it would be like India versus Thailand or whatever. And then you have some training, and then we mix everybody up so that you're debating in teams of 3 with people from 3 different countries and a coach from a 4th country. And so you have to learn to work together to argue about particular issues with people from vastly different cultures. So it might be somebody from India, somebody from Croatia, somebody from Israel, and a coach from Botswana. Right? And you have to learn how to work together to achieve your goal. So there's a really fun kind of cultural exchange element to it as well. We have those events this year in Mexico and Thailand. Next year, we'll have another one in Asia, so if you go to our website, you can see information about that. We also promote regular old debate tournaments. So in China, we have a tournament coming up that has about 200 teams entered, so it's going to be very big. And we have an English language division and a Mandarin language division. So students will be debating in either one of those languages. And that kind of echoes what Noel said, that we want to promote debate in lots of different languages. There's no reason that it should just be in English. So we do a lot of work promoting debate in Mandarin, Arabic, Russian, Thai, Spanish, French. Any language that we can possibly promote debate in, we'll try it. The last thing I would say is that we also promote public debates on important issues. 2 of the things that we're doing in the US right now are debates about civil liberties after September 11th. And we're doing some debates about the US presidential election. So we'll pick some important issues that are going on and organize public debates and kind of events around those. So that's kind of an overview of what IDEA does. I don't know if there are any... Oh, and this is our website, our old website. If you Google preview... Yeah, this is going to be our new website. and you'll be able to go there, and there should be, in the coming months, a video component, so you can debate via video. There's online text debates. You can organize your debate club through this. We're testing it right now, so it's not quite ready, but hopefully soon enough you'll be able to use this. So that's idea. That's a bit about what we do. I don't know if there are any questions. Yep.
Could you tell us a bit more probably about that flagship program that you said that bouncing in different cultures
Yeah.
and different countries? I found that idea very interesting.
Yeah, it's something, it's called the Youth Forum, and Logan has participated in it quite a few times as well, so later you can ask him about it as well. But it started, we've been doing it for 17 years now, and it's an annual event, and basically we draw students from usually about 30 or 35 countries together, and the first three days they participate in a debate tournament. Okay, so regular debate tournament, and there's one topic for that tournament, right? And again, everybody in that tournament is paired with students from their country. So like you would make a team of 3 and you would go together and you would debate, and that would be that. Then in the middle, well then there's like a day of kind of cultural excursion. You can go visit local sites of interest wherever it is. So this year it's in Mexico and one in Thailand. So you would have an outing where you would go see something interesting. And then there's 5 days, I believe, of training where you're mixed up with students from all different countries. And we definitely make sure that on any given team there are students from 3 countries. So you definitely will not know the people that you're debating with. But over 5 days you'll learn about a new topic and you'll debate about that topic. And then you'll have a tournament where you are paired with those students, right? And you have a regular debate tournament, and that's on a different topic than the first tournament. So within 2 weeks, you get 2 debate tournaments, you get 5 days of training, you make a ton of new friends. Everybody's very sad at the end of the Youth Forum. And then on Facebook for like months, it's like, I miss you, I want to go back to the Youth Forum. Not me, they don't miss me, we miss each other. And then a tournament, and then, yeah. Yeah.
Is there an age limit, or do you guys have a particular age group that you...
That tournament, the debaters are in high school, yeah. But we also have some other kind of trainings and tracks that go along with it. So usually we have a track or like a curriculum for sort of people graduating university who want to learn how to become a coach or a trainer. We usually have a track for high school students graduating who want to learn college, university level formats. This year, because the Youth Forum is in Mexico, we're having a Spanish language track to train people how to teach debate in Spanish. What else? Oh, we have a track for people who are just totally new to debate, who have never had any experience and just want to come learn. We have a track for judging, so if you want to learn how to become a better judge, you can take that. So it's kind of, we try to get, meet as many different needs as possible. Again, only within 2 weeks. But. Yeah?
Could you also tell us about the online debating championship that you organized?
Yes, we organized something called the World Online Debate Championship, and I'm personally not involved in that. Another office does it, so I can only kind of speak in generalities. But basically, this is a tournament where you're having an online debate with text. So it's not a video debate, it's not a radio debate. You have a certain amount of time to prepare arguments, and then you upload those to our website, and then your opponent team has a certain amount of time to respond. And so you and your teammates get together and you brainstorm which arguments you want to make, and you type those. And it goes back and forth. And then at the end, we have a team of judges who take a look at this debate, and they take a look at it without knowing which country you're from, and they look at it and they assess which arguments are better and which team should advance to the next round. And they provide you with feedback so that okay, this argument was good, or this one needed work. And so you learn something along the way as well. And we usually get pretty good like geographical representation. I think the last winners were from the Czech Republic, I think. And so, you know, it's a good way to debate with people from different countries as well without having to get on a plane. Other questions? Yeah.
Religious debate sounds quite interesting.
Yeah.
I want to know, is it just religious means as in people are there from different religious backgrounds, or the debate itself is about religion?
Do you want to say something about your program?
So the program we're running in New York is with 3 religious youth groups, which are actually all coincidentally South Asian. So we have a group from the Hindu Temple Society of North America, a group from the United Sikh Organization in New York, and then a group from the Jamaica Muslim Center, Jamaica's neighborhood within New York. And so what I do is I train each group individually, and I did that for about 6 weeks. And prior to coming to Delhi on Monday and Tuesday, I hosted a mixed group session with all 3 groups for 2 days. And so we talk about issues that are, as Alex mentioned, post 9/11 kind of civil liberties issues and how those issues have affected these students living in New York and affected their families and their communities. And we will have a final tournament in which the students will be in mixed teams, very similar to the youth forum. We'll have 1 student from each group on a mixed team where they will then have a tournament on May 20th. So they're debating both religious issues or learning about each other's religions, as well as talking about issues that are common to each group.
This is a new program for us. We've been doing it for 3 or 4 months. And so we're still kind of learning lessons as we go a little bit.
Like high school students?
These are all high school students.
Yeah, and we're hoping to expand it, because so far it's been good, and the students love it so far.
We need to move on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. If you have more questions, please feel free to approach any of the presenters during the break time and engage in these conversations. We want the presentations to be sort of brief previews of these ideas, and then you can engage in these conversations longer, right? So now we're going to move into the first set of 3 presentations and try to run through them as quickly as we can. So each presenter will have 15 minutes, okay? Presenters, right? Keep notes. There will be claps. You're all debaters, so you know how this works pretty much, right? We'll start with the presentation by Shonak on debates, the NLS debate tournament specifically, but also how that relates to an overview of the last 10 years, a decade of debating in India, and then move on to Nitish, who will talk about Hindi language debating, and then to Shuhaib, who's going to give us a perspective from Kashmir and what's happening there. So kind of like overview of debates in the continent. I'm just going to invite Shonak to get ready. I can set it up here.